before I launch into prepared remarks, a couple of things if I could at the outset. First of all, it's a great day, a truly great day. The Yankees won yesterday the home opener against the Bo Sox. How many people are here from Boston? Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Very few. All right, if you come to Fordham, you'll return home wearing pinstripes. I'm just saying that. We're a very missionary crowd, and we look forward to the encounter. So it's a great day here in New York. It's a spring day. Second, I flew in last night from Los Angeles. This is not too. I was in LA. Wow. So I'm just looking forward to being with you today after the flight. And it's appropriate that we gather here because one of the last times I was in LA, I got to spend time with Fordham's most famous living alumnus, Denzel Washington. And it is here on this stage, which is set for a production, that Denzel learned the art of acting. And he takes he's very, very fond of Fordham. We have an endowed professorship that has his name on it, and he stops by and visits with our theater students on, I would say, on an irregular basis, but he always does come at least once a year. So be on the lookout. If you come to Fordham at Lincoln Center, you may run into Denzel Washington. We're immensely proud of him. I think of him as really the greatest living actor, not just the greatest living Fordham alumnus. When I was speaking to him about the possibility of his endowing a chair in theater here, I said to him, it's very important for us to be able to say that we have the Denzel Washington chair. He said, I don't want that. I said, what do you mean you don't want that? He said, I'm not about myself. So I prefer that it not have my name on it. And I begged him, I said, please, you have to do this. It's extraordinarily important for us. He said, why? And I said, you're Denzel Washington. And he said, so? And I said, you're the second most famous person ever to go to Fordham. And he looked at me and he said, who's the most famous? And I said, that would be Vince Lombardi. And he said, oh, that's not bad company. And I said, he says the same thing about you. So we got the chair named the Denzel Washington chair. So we are in the very room, the very theater, and at the stage where Denzel, the greatest living American actor, I believe, learned the art and craft of acting. And you'll be able to say, back home when you graduate, I graduated from the same school as Denzel Washington. And he thinks it's great, he's keeping company with me. And you can say that. Since I came back from LA, who won the Super Bowl this year?
Bengals.
Who? The Rams, yes. And you know for whom the LA Rams are named. Fordham Rams. I know you're skeptical, but I'm telling you, look at the way I'm dressed. I'm not going to lie. In point of fact, the LA Rams are named for the Fordham Rams. They were founded in Cleveland in the 30s, when Fordham was at the height of its football power. And the guy who founded the Rams, the NFL Rams, looked around and said, I want to name my team for a classy operation of champions. And so he looked around and he saw the Rams, and the Fordham Rams, and he said, this is what I want my team to be associated with, the Fordham Rams. So this is pretty good, I think. We're the only college or university in the United States that has an NFL franchise named for its football team. I just want to point this out. There is no such thing as the San Diego Fighting Irish, okay? Are we clear on that? So if you come here, you get all of that. So I've gotten all of this frivolity out of my system, and having done so, should I give them any more? No, later, I'll give them more. Having gotten all that, I want to welcome you to Fordham on behalf of everyone here at Fordham, the Fordham staff, the administration, the members of the Board of Trustees, and the students. I want to welcome you to Fordham. It is a great honor for us to have you here. John has already welcomed you, and he's already given you a sense of the kind of community that you are looking at. I want to underscore a few things. John said to you that this year we have over 47,000 applications for admission. What he didn't tell you is that we're only looking for a class of 2,400 students. So the fact that you are here today and been accepted by Fordham means a great deal, and it should mean a great deal to you. Out of this enormous applicant pool of over 47,000, you were accepted. You were accepted into a very elite institution, the only elite college in the United States that has no elitists on campus. I want to make that very clear. Our students are terrific. They're very down to earth. They have New York swag and swagger. That is to say, they're really wonderful kids, and they come from wonderful families. So, you know, be proud. Be very, very proud. As he also said, it is a remarkably diverse population in the applicant pool. But he didn't say, as our three largest feeder states are New York, no surprise. New Jersey, no surprise either. Every year we get 14% of our students from Jersey. Doesn't matter how large or how small the class is, Jersey comes always in at 14%. I have no idea, it might have something to do with the fact that John Buckley lives in Jersey, but I'm not going to go there. And our third largest feeder state is California, and has been in the top 3 for the last 5 years or so. We'll have, if our projections hold, we'll have about 200 students from California. They are not really in the number of percentage that John gave you when he said that we have 48%, we have 8% of international students. They seem international, but they're not really. So, they're Californians, which is a place unto itself, and I love it dearly. So it's a delight to welcome all of you. I've already had the opportunity to touch base with a family from St. Louis over here, Rosati, from Dallas, and also Mexico City, up in the front, Houston, and Annapolis, Maryland, and the guy I met in Boston at our accepted students and alumni event back in December. He saw me outside, he came over, he said, "Do you remember me?" And he said, "I'm the plumber." I said, "Boston." And he said, "Yeah, you remember me." I said, "Absolutely." So it's great to have all of you back and have all the rest of you with us this morning. Now, April, as you know, the month in which we find ourselves, is the month during which Chaucer's pilgrims in the Canterbury Tales gathered at Southwark Cathedral on the south bank of the Thames to make their journey toward the shrine of St. Thomas a Becket in Canterbury. As you remember from your reading of the Canterbury Tales, which all of you have done, well, you did, or you will, it was a rollicking sort of adventure for them. They really whiled away the time on the way from London to Canterbury by telling tales. And they were wonderful tales. And all of you may feel like you too are on a bit of a pilgrimage. Not on a pilgrimage to a shrine of a saint, but rather you're on a pilgrimage, you have been for the past year, on a pilgrimage around the country looking for the school which will be the home for your heart for the next 4 years. In that place where you'll begin to create the network of friends who will support you for the rest of your lives. It's been a great, great time for you. Some of you, however, may feel, I'm not so sure the Canterbury Tales capture what April has been like for me. It's not a coming home or a discovery of home, but rather you may feel the way that T.S. Eliot felt about April when he said, April is the cruelest month. And for you, who are not quite clear where you're going to be, this is just a continuation of the journey that you've been on for the past year. And if I'm not much mistaken, and Jesuits are never mistaken, I'd like to imagine that you are in a moment which is at one and the same time heady and excruciating. As for the heady part of this moment, you have all of you gained admission to a very competitive university, and you were admitted here with good reason. You all shine with talent. John has given you a sense of how talented this applicant pool, this accepted pool is. You're just amazing. And therefore, you should all of you be proud. Your parents should be proud as well. As for the excruciating nature of the moment, let's be honest. This past year has been an exhausting one. And how could it not have been exhausting? After all, you spent the better part of the last year examining your options. And it has been a very long year. How long? When you began, your fathers all had full heads of dark hair. And now look at them. In the course of this very long year, you've been courted by a wide range of schools. Many of them, let me be honest, unworthy suitors for you. Very unworthy. You've spoken to your friends, you've listened to your parents, your siblings, and your guidance counselors in high school. Up till now, you've had the luxury of time on your side as you've dug into the college search process, and I hope you've used all of the months of that year very well. Time, however, my friends, is no longer on your side. In fact, time is running out. Between now and May 1st, you have to make a decision. You have to choose. Now, as you enter this last phase of your search, all of you have my sympathy. But even at this late stage in the journey that you have been on, I have to ask you to do the following things. And this is, I'm not selling Fordham here, I'm selling you to yourselves. And that's important. At this late stage in this process of discernment, this long journey, please remember the following. Number one, take yourselves seriously. It's very important. I cannot stress that enough. Take yourselves seriously. And if you take yourselves seriously, number two, ask difficult questions about all the schools that are still in the running for you right now. Therefore, number three, continue to ask very, very difficult questions. The important questions about your search. Ask if there's a good match between you and the schools that you're still looking at. And if there's no match between you and your dreams and the school and the programs, throw them out. You owe it to yourself, take yourself seriously, listen to your hearts, ask the tough and important questions. Discuss the answers with your parents. Continue to ask yourself when you're on the campus if your heart is strangely moved when you're on the campus. Strangely moved by the people you encounter, by what you see going on. Watch carefully. See if students like one another. See if they tease one another. See if they get along with one another. See if they give life to one another. And see if faculty interact with students with an easy familiarity and a great joy. Or do they look on the students as interruptions in their research work? See if your heart is strangely warmed by what you see. And listen to your heart. Take yourself seriously. It's very important. It's only if you take yourself seriously that you will make the right choice. I mean that. Remember, you bring a great deal to the table. All of you. You bring a great deal to any school that you choose. Don't doubt that for a moment. Because if you doubt that for a moment, you're shortchanging yourselves. And as someone who is delighted and honored and pleased that you are here because you are so talented, I'd say there's no room for doubt. You bring a great deal to this moment, and you're going to bring an immense amount of talent, life, and joy to whatever school you go to. That's important. Before I say anything about Fordham, please listen to that. And listen to your parents. I mean that. Listen to your parents. They love you to death. They do anything so that you would succeed in life. Listen to them. They have a vested interest in you. They loved you from the moment you were born. Parents, you owe me big time on that. And I have no children. None at all. Never been married, no children. I envy all of you. I really do, except when it comes to paying the bill. Now, of course, some of you have already made up your minds to attend Fordham. For you, today is a walk in the park. It's an opportunity to confirm your choice and to become more familiar with the school at which you will spend the next 4 years, and the school at which you'll begin to build a network of friends who will be your friends quite literally for the rest of your lives. Some of you, however, are still wrestling with other options, unworthy options. For you, today is an opportunity to continue the long process of discernment in which you've been involved in so deeply for the past months. I hope that what I have to say today will confirm the convinced and convince the wavering. Confirm the convinced and convince the waiter. Now, how could I possibly do that and do it in a relatively short period of time? In order to do that, I will have to tell you a bit about the extraordinary nature of Fordham. Now, I know that all of you, when you hear me say I'm going to talk about the extraordinary nature of Fordham, you'll be tempted to dismiss what I have to say. You may say to yourselves, either here whispering to one another or later in the day, why should I listen to him? He's the president. He's got to say it's an extraordinary place or they'll fire him. That's not the reason I say it. I say it from the heart, Fordham is an extraordinary place. But I do know that you're skeptical. And if you think I would say it and not mean it, you don't know me at all. I'm a Jesuit and I'm a native New Yorker. Therefore, I am a skeptic at heart myself. So I can understand if you were sitting there and wanted to stand up and say, show me, prove it. I may not be really from Missouri, but at this moment I am from Missouri. Show me. Tell me what you mean. Why should I believe that Fordham is truly an extraordinary place? All right, I take a challenge. Here goes. I'm going to begin by saying that Fordham is an extraordinary place precisely because it is the Jesuit University of New York. Jesuit University of New York. But what does that mean? Well, it means a great deal indeed. Let me take our tagline apart and tell you a little bit about each of the terms that make it up. First, New York. New York is a city that we are proud to call our home. It's not merely our home and our address. It is and has been our partner in education, our laboratory, and our classroom since 1841. I remember the day we started. It was a great day in June. A little warm, but it was nice. All right? What a partner it's been. Now, we New Yorkers were thrilled, but not at all surprised, when Pope John Paul II, Pope Benedict XVI, and Pope Francis, all, when they came to New York, called New York the capital of the world. The capital of the world. Now, I'm not saying that. 3 popes said it. And they're infallible. So it's the capital of the world. All right? Since they're infallible, we believe that their words really confirm for the whole world what we already knew about our city. Up until then, however, we had contented ourselves with referring to New York, the city that never sleeps, modestly, as the greatest city in the world. And we truly believe it is. And I believe there's a foundation for our claims, being the capital of the world and the greatest city on the face of the earth. Because here in New York, the worlds of international relations, business, commerce, entertainment, and also advertising and media generally, they come together as they come together in no other city in the United States and probably no other city in the world. This is the place, this city, this New York, this capital of the world, this is a city in which the future is being worked out day by day. This is the city that other people read about. This is the city that really is on the forefront of all our actions going into the future. So what does this mean? It means that our students have access to internships in the worlds of communication, commerce, business, the arts, that are simply not available anywhere else in the world. And this is important for us. Lest you think I'm handing you a line, I remind you of a few facts, only a few. The world's headquarters of all of the major media outlets in the United States are within walking distance of this campus. In addition to that, Lincoln Center for the Performing Arts, the world's greatest concentration of cultural establishments, is located literally right across the street. And in the Bronx, we're located right across the street from 2 of the world's greatest biological research centers, namely the New York Botanical Garden and the Bronx Zoo. This is for our students an extraordinary range of possibilities. Wall Street is a short subway stop away from here. Broadway, and all that it implies, located within 20 blocks of where we are right now. All of this is available to our students. And because we're a part of the city, and the city is part of our DNA, the education we offer our students here at Fordham is one that is filled with a sense of energy and an invitation to exploration. Robert Moses, the great master builder, once said, "If you are tired of New York, you are tired of life." And I'm here to tell you our students are not tired of life. They make extraordinary use, extensive use, daily use of all the opportunities that New York has to offer them. They are not tired of life. They always want to test when they arrive here if it's true that the city that never sleeps, never sleeps. And I can tell you, when they come home from midnight mass on Friday night and Saturday night, they're under my window discussing what they have seen and done in the city in the course of the day and the evening. This is a city that taxes and stretches our students. They get into the city. They learn from the city. They test themselves. They test their mettle. They see if what they learn in class is, in point of fact, true in life. It's an extraordinary opportunity for them. And it's within this context, the context of the capital of the world, that our students receive a recognizably Jesuit education. But what does that mean? What is a Jesuit education all about? What does it feel like? Jesuit education has for 4.5 centuries had a style, a feel, a sense of purpose, and a sense of urgency. Above all, Jesuit education has always been about the serious work of offering students a complete education. An education that seeks to educate the whole person, body, mind, and spirit. An education that seeks to prepare its graduates for service and leadership in the world. Service and leadership. But how exactly does Jesuit education achieve the lofty and ambitious goals that it has always set for itself since the first school was opened in Messina, Sicily in 1548? It's been able to do so because Jesuit education is now and has always been marked by certain characteristics that define it. But what are the characteristics that define Jesuit education? Well, first, a Fordham education, the Jesuit education at Fordham, is marked by what we Jesuits call cura personalis. This is something, if you come to Fordham, you will learn what this is, not notionally. You will learn it experientially. Cura personalis. What the heck does that mean? It means this: personal care for each student and care for the whole student. This means that here at Fordham we take seriously our responsibility to get to know each student and to take his or her talents and dreams very seriously. It means that we will go out of our way to surround each student with concern and love. It means that if you want to be a number, we're not the place for you. If you want to be anonymous and slip through your college experience, do not come to Fordham, because you'll be miserable. Why will you be miserable? Because we'll be worried about you, we'll ask about you, we'll see what you're up to, we'll continue to goad you. We don't believe in low expectations, and we're not going to insult you with low expectations. You may every once in a while say, insult me, and we will say no. We're not going to insult you with low expectations, we're going to push you. And we're going to know what makes you tick. We will walk with you, we'll cry with you, we'll cheer with you, we'll rejoice with you, and we'll learn from you. Cura personalis. Care for the whole student and care for each student. I take this seriously, we all take this seriously. I say to our faculty, especially our starting faculty, when they come for the first orientation, I say to them, look, if you come to Fordham, you have to commit to this. Cura personalis, you have to train yourself to look at each student in front of you and say to yourself and mean it, this is the most important student ever to come to Fordham in 181 years. And then when she gets out of sight, the next person, you have to train yourself to see that this student is the most important student that we've ever had. Because the student is the most important student we've ever had. Because that's the way we feel. That's what we believe, and that's how we act. So, in addition to that, because of our Jesuit education, we challenge our students to seek excellence in all that they do. Why? Number 3, we're dedicated to educating leaders. We're not just educating graduates, we're educating leaders. Leaders that are interested in making a difference in the world. This is very important for us. We're educating leaders who will make a difference in all the worlds that they inhabit, but we're also interested in leaders that are leaders for the difference, men and women whose lives are marked by certain characteristics, by conscience. We offer our students, therefore, a decidedly values-laden education. Look, if you want to go to a school where no one's going to raise the big questions about life, we're not the place for you. We offer you a values-laden education, and we invite you to wrestle with the great questions of human life. Like what? What is human life? What's the value of human life? What about race and racism? What about justice? What about building a more just, humane, and peaceful world? These are the issues, the questions that we raise all the time. This is very important for us, and for the parents here, I have to tell you, one of the last things you have to know is Jesuit education is really dedicated to ruining your children for life. Ruining them because we want them to leave with a sense, we want them to be bothered by the realization that they don't know everything, and bothered by injustice in any form in which it is before them. We want them to emerge from here with a sense of purpose, really a sense of purpose. We want them to live magnificently and to live a life that is filled with a sense of noble purpose. Now, when you put it all together, what is a Fordham education all about? It's about nothing less than this: empowerment and transformation. This is the way in which the transformation takes place. Cared for, our students are challenged. Challenged, they awaken to their real potential, the possession of all the gifts that God has given them. Awakened, they are transformed. Transformed, they are empowered. Empowered, they emerge from their experience at the university as recognizable Jesuit graduates. They are men and women for others. They are men and women with a difference. They're men and women whose lives are marked by the 5 C's: character, conscience, competence, compassion, and a deep commitment to the building up of the human family. They truly are men and women with a difference, and men and women who will make a difference in the world. Mind what I've told you, that will come as no surprise to you when I tell you, whenever I meet with employers or potential employers for our students, they always say to me, they choose Fordham graduates for reasons. One of those reasons, Fordham students, Fordham graduates, tend to be men and women of integrity, men and women of strong moral compass, men and women who can work on a team, who leave their ego at the door, throw themselves into a common task, men and women who can be counted on, men and women who ask the right questions, men and women who move the conversation forward by asking the integral questions about integrity, meaning, and impact. This, my friends, is what I offer you. This is what Fordham offers you. If you come here, this is the kind of education that you will receive. An education which is filled with meaning, filled with excitement, filled with a sense of purpose. Now, we're not the place for everybody. We simply are not, and I know that. For some, New York is too much, not you. For some, Jesuit education seems mysterious. That's all right, it's mysterious to Jesuits as well. But this is what we offer you. This is Fordham, the Jesuit University of New York. It's the Jesuit University of the capital of the world. A place where miracles are commonplace, where talent has been tested, character has been formed, and hope has been born for 181 years. If you come here, what do we promise you? We promise you this. You become part of a community of scholars who will challenge you and cherish you in equal measure. A community of scholars who will worry about you, work with you, walk with you. A community of scholars who will call you to the greatness that is within you. A community of scholars who will fight you every step of the way if you show doubt in yourself. A community of scholars who will empower you, be joy to you, bring you happiness, and give your life the sense of purpose that you desire. Now, as I conclude, on behalf of the whole Fordham family, I want to thank you for being with us today. It's an honor. It's a blessing. It's a grace to have you here, and I mean that. You know, the day after opening day, when the Bo Sox got what they deserved. On the day before Holy Week, you know, we're entering the most solemn period of the year for Christians, and also Passover, the most solemn period of the year for Jews, and we're in the middle of Ramadan. 3 great Abrahamic faiths celebrate at the same time. At this time, I promise you this. Because we're so honored by your presence, we're going to pray for all of you as you continue your discernment. We really will. For those of you who will choose to come to Fordham, welcome. Welcome to the family. We're delighted you're here. For those of you who are still on the fence, please be assured we're going to pray for you earnestly from the heart, that as you go through this last phase of your discernment, that you make the right choice, the only choice, the Fordham choice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Father McShane. We're now getting ready for the next segment of our program.